It is the only food designed not to be swallowed. A chewy, stretchy, resilient icon of American culture that has occupied the mouths of baseball players, teenagers, and rebels for over a century. It is a confectionery paradox, a solid that behaves like a liquid, a flavor that lasts for minutes but a memory that lasts a lifetime. The pink bubble gum, whether wrapped in a comic strip, formed into a sphere, or rolled into a tape, it is a marvel of polymer chemistry. Americans consume over 100,000 tons of chewing gum every year.
Inside the Candy Factory. Pink bubblegum.
It is a journey that begins in the pine forests of the Deep South and the cornfields of the Midwest. It involves a supply chain that handles materials used in both rocket fuel and car tires. And it relies on a manufacturing process that requires the brute force of a concrete mixer and the delicate touch of a confectioner. How do you turn a synthetic rubber base into a soft, chewable treat? How do you engineer a flavor that survives the chewing process? And why is the classic bubble gum always pink? From the tree resin to the blister pack, this is the mega process of the pink bubble. Our story begins deep in the jungles of Central America. For thousands of years, the Mayans chewed chicle, the natural latex sap of the sapodilla tree. This was the original gum base. But as the American obsession with chewing grew in the 20th century, the trees couldn't keep up. The industry had to evolve. Today, the soul of bubble gum is born in the laboratory. We start at a specialized facility that produces gum base. This is the non-nutritive, non-digestible, water-insoluble delivery system for flavor. Modern gum base is a complex matrix of food-grade polymers. It starts with synthetic rubber, specifically polyisobutylene. This is the same material used to make the inner tubes of tires. It provides the elasticity, the bounce that allows you to blow a bubble without it collapsing. To make the rubber chewable, we need resin. For this, we travel to the pine forests of the American South. Pine rosin, harvested from trees or extracted from stumps, is refined into glycerol ester of wood rosin. This ingredient acts as a plasticizer. It softens the rubber, allowing it to blend with the other ingredients. Without it, you would be chewing on a rubber band. To give the gum a smooth texture, waxes are added. Microcrystalline wax, a byproduct of petroleum refining, and vegetable oils lubricate the mass. They lower the melting point of the gum base so it softens at body temperature inside your mouth. A rubber base has no taste. To make it a candy, we need sugar. We head north to the corn belt. Here, corn is processed into glucose syrup. This viscous liquid is essential. If we used only granulated sugar, the gum would be grainy and brittle. Glucose syrup acts as a doctoring agent, preventing sugar crystallization and keeping the gum soft and pliable for months on the shelf. But for the initial burst of sweetness, we need dextrose, finely powdered sugar. This dissolves instantly on the tongue, providing that immediate sugar rush while the glucose provides the long-term texture. The flavor of classic bubble gum is a mystery to many. It is not a single fruit. It is a fantasy blend. It is a cocktail of esters and essential oils. The traditional recipe, the tutti frutti profile, is a mix of wintergreen, vanilla, and cassia. Some recipes add orange oil or lemon for a citrus top note. These oils are highly volatile. They must be encapsulated or mixed carefully to ensure they survive the manufacturing process. And then the color. Why pink? When Walter Deemer invented the first successful bubble gum recipe in 1928, the only food coloring he had on hand was pink. It became the industry standard. Today, we use red dye number 40 or 3 to achieve that iconic neon hue. All these global ingredients converge at the mega factory. This facility operates 24 hours a day, producing millions of pieces of gum. Liquid glucose arrives in heated tankers, kept at 100 degrees Fahrenheit to ensure flow. The gum base arrives in solid blocks or pellets, stacked on pallets. The logistics are precise. The gum base is expensive and heavy. The sugar is hygroscopic. It absorbs water from the air. The ingredients cannot sit for long. They must be processed immediately. Before a single mixer is turned on, the raw materials face the raw lab. Technicians test the softening point of the gum base. If it's too high, the gum will be too hard to chew. If it's too low, it will be a sticky mess. They test the particle size of the sugar. It must be as fine as dust to ensure a smooth mouthfeel. Only when the chemistry is perfect does the production begin. We enter the mixing room. This is where the magic happens. The process begins with the gum base. The solid blocks of gum base are dumped into a pre-melter. Steam jackets heat the vessel T. Around 200 degrees Fahrenheit. The hard pellets melt into a thick, grayish goo that resembles molten lava. This molten base is pumped into the main mixer. These machines use massive Sigma blades, Z-shaped metal arms that can knead thousands of pounds of dough with incredible torque. The mixing process is a timed sequence. First, the corn syrup is added to the molten base. This softens the rubber and prepares it to accept the solids. Next, the powdered sugar is added in stages. If added all at once, the friction would skyrocket, burning the gum. It is dusted in gradually. The blades fold the sugar into the rubber matrix. Finally, the small ingredients. The flavor oils and the pink dye are injected. Within seconds, the gray mass transforms into the vibrant, bubblegum pink we recognize. The mixer runs for about 20 to 30 minutes. The friction generates heat, keeping the mass pliable. The final product is a warm, 1,000-pound loaf of bubble gum dough. The batch is dumped. It is a massive, warm, fragrant blob, but you can't wrap a blob. It needs to be shaped. The gum travels to the pre-extruder. A massive screw pushes the warm dough through a wide nozzle, forming it into a thick, continuous slab about the width of a textbook. At this stage, the gum is too hot to shape precisely. It is around 120 degrees. It travels through a cooling tunnel or under fans to bring the temperature down to a workable 90 degrees. The slab enters the rolling line. This works like a pasta maker. The gum passes through a series of gauge rollers. Each set of rollers reduces the thickness. To prevent the sticky gum from adhering to the steel rollers, a fine mist of powdered sugar or cornstarch is sprinkled onto the sheet. Once the sheet reaches the target thickness, it passes under the scoring rolls. These are knives that do not cut all the way through. They simply mark the gum with a grid pattern. This grid defines the final shape of the piece. The sheet is now a continuous quilt of potential gum. The gum is still soft and plastic. If we tried to break it now, it would stretch. It needs to be brittle to break cleanly. The sheets are stacked on trays and moved to the conditioning room. Here, in a temperature and humidity-controlled environment, the gum rests for 24 to 48 hours. The sugar crystallizes and the gum base sets. The texture changes from doughy to firm. This aging process is crucial for the snap. For coated gum or chiclets, the hardened sheets are tumbled in a breaker, which snaps the pieces apart along the score lines. These cores are then loaded into massive coating pans. Inside rotating pans, layers of liquid sugar syrup are sprayed onto the tumbling gum cores. This is panning. Layer after layer, sometimes up to 40 coats, is applied and dried with hot air. This builds the hard, crunchy candy shell. A final polish with carnauba wax gives the gum its glossy, jewel-like finish. For classic stick or chunk gum, the conditioned sheets are fed into the high-speed wrapper. This machine is a blur. In a single motion, the machine snaps the stick along the score line, wraps it in aluminum foil to preserve freshness, and slides it into a paper sleeve. Modern wrappers can process up to 2,000 pieces per minute. Optical sensors check every package. If a wrapper is misaligned by a millimeter, an air jet blasts the defective piece into a reject bin. The individual packs are grouped, shrink-wrapped, and boxed. The boxes are palletized by robotic arms. Because gum has low water activity, it is incredibly shelf-stable. It can remain fresh for over a year if kept dry. It is a process that turns the sap of the jungle and the starch of the field into a global icon of fun. From the chemistry of the polymer base to the physics of the snap, pink bubble gum is more than a candy. It is a rite of passage, a small, sweet rebellion that allows us to stretch, blow, and pop our way through the day. Inside the candy factory, the bubble never bursts.